Hi, it's Craig from Scratch Golf Life, and Screengate continues. Did speak to them today. Unfortunately, because of the full lockdown, the supply and deliveries are massively backed up, so I've just got to be patient and wait for the new screen to arrive. Anyway, enough of that. Today, we're going to talk about bag mapping feature on the Skytrak game improvement software. So I did a video literally about a week ago showing all the features of the game improvement software with the Skytrak, explaining which ones were fantastic, which, to be honest with you, none of them are bad. They're all good. Some are just amazing and some are just very useful. The bag mapping, and I mentioned it in that video, is, in my opinion, probably the best feature on the Skytrak as far as benefiting your game and giving you some really important, crucial information. So, first of all, you must know how far you hit your clubs, okay? Now, I understand that not everyone has got access to a launch monitor or a Skytrak and can go through this process now, which I'm going to show you, which is absolutely amazing for finding out exactly how far you hit your clubs and for actually mapping your whole bag as well. Okay, so this is, for me, this is the ultimate tool for working out how far you hit your clubs. But there are lots of other ways of doing it. You know, there's lots of great sensor apps for your phone now, like Arcos and, you know, Game Golf. There's lots of different ones, which will also, over a short period of time, start to give you that information on exactly how far you hit your clubs. If you don't know how far you hit your clubs, how on earth can you expect to hit greens regularly and club yourself in the correct manner if you don't, you know, you just, it sounds like an obvious statement, but I'm amazed by how many people I know who actually don't know exactly how far they hit their clubs. They'll kind of say, oh, I think I hit it 150 yards. Well, you know, should never be a think, you must know. Okay, so if we go to the Skytrak software we've got set up here, this is the opening page. We go to game improvement and then we go to bag mapping. It loads up the bag mapping feature. And then I've got my bag saved as a preset here for irons and hybrids. So I don't tend to include my 3-wood and my driver in my bag mapping. You know, basically my driver, you know, I'm just going to be hitting that off the tee and I just want it to go as far as I can possibly hit it. And with my 3-wood, I just think that that's something that I hit when I need my longest club to either get it as far down a par 5 or try and reach a green, you know, whatever it might be. Whereas the rest of these clubs that I've loaded up, I do feel I need to know exactly how far I hit these clubs and ideally how far I carry them. That's the one thing that this bag mapping software does. It gives you your absolute carry distances. Okay, so first things first, just to mention, you must use the golf ball that you use out on the golf course. So, you know, whatever it is, your ball of choice, make sure that you use that exact same golf ball in your bag mapping session. Because different golf balls can certainly give different numbers and different yardages and stuff. So whatever golf ball you use, make sure that you use it in your bag mapping session. So if we now turn to the actual page, you can see that I've got all of my irons loaded in here, from lob wedge through my gap wedges all the way through to my 2 hybrids. And then once you've loaded all those up, the ones that you want to include in the bag mapping session, which is 11 clubs, as you can see here. And then I've got down to hit, I'm going to hit 6 shots with each, and the best 4 are going to count. So I think that's enough. I think that, you know, out of 6, I'm going to hit 4 good ones, which is going to give me those averages that I'm going to need to get to map my bag correctly. You can do more, but, you know, I've done it with a few more, and the session tends to go on a bit too long. And, you know, to be honest, you've got to hit a lot of shots. If you're going to, you know, hit 10 shots with every club and have 8 that count, you do have to hit a hell of a lot of shots to map your whole bag. And it can, you know, it sounds ridiculous, but you know, if you're just stood there hitting shot after shot after shot after shot, you know, you can start to actually feel a little bit tired and a little bit fatigued, and you know, your swing can go on those later clubs and you don't get an accurate hit or an accurate yardage for your club. So I think that 6 shots with best 4 to count is more than enough to be able to map your bag correctly. You got to remember that actually, if you hit a shot and it's a really bad one, you can just delete it. It doesn't have to count, which we'll show when we actually load it up. Okay, so shots per club 6, best shots selected 4, and then you can put in what you want your intended gap to be. So this is again entirely personal to you. For me, I'm looking for around a 10-yard gap between each club and a plus or minus tolerance of 2 yards. So that'll be a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 12. I think that's about right for where you want to be able to, you know, have those correct gaps in your clubs to make sure that, you know, you'll be able to have the iron that you need to hit whatever yardage out on the golf course. Okay, so once you've put all that information in, you click apply, and basically it takes you straight to the range. And as you can see at the bottom here, the L wedge is loaded up, and I've got club 1 of 11 clubs to hit, and it's my L wedge, and it's shot 1 of 6. Okay, so you then just start to hit your shots. Okay, so remember on the Skytrak, on the red dot with your logo facing the launch monitor, and then, you know, you don't want to feel like you're doing anything different. Don't be trying to hit your shots hard. Don't be trying to do it, you know, just want some good, solid, normal swings, if that makes sense. You know, you don't want to be, you know, trying to hit them really hard, trying to, you know, hit it as far as you can to get the numbers further because you know, you want your wedge to go 140 yards or whatever. You know, don't get tied up into any of that. We just need to know how far your clubs go with just a good solid swing that you're going to use out on the golf course. Okay, so you just start. And this is it now, really. You just settle in. You know, you can see that each shot gives you your information. You can see that that one carried 95 yards. 95 is what I exactly expect this L wedge to go. Your total distance, and you know, it's got all your numbers at the bottom, but you don't want to get really too caught up in that. Just get into the mode of just, you know, hitting shot after shot, just trying to repeat your swing every single time, not doing anything different. Okay, so I'll carry on with this now, and we will now cut, because obviously this is going to take me a long time to do, and then we'll cut straight to the end of the session, and we'll have a look at the results and the report that you get, which is absolutely amazing. So much detail involved in it. It's fantastic. So, okay, let's go and have a look at the results. Okay, so I finished my hitting session for doing the bag mapping. Quick word of advice, and tonight was a great example. Make sure that you're feeling full of energy, nice and fresh. I came in here tonight feeling a bit tired, and towards the end of that session, I was making some really tired and bad swings. So always a good idea to do it when you're feeling really motivated, full of energy. Make sure that you make good swings throughout the whole session. Okay, so let's have a look at, once you finish your session, what you get. And there's just an amazing amount of information that you get with this bag mapping software with the Skytrak. So as we can see here, we've got all of my clubs listed here all the way through, and then it is showing all of the ball flights and the gaps at the bottom. So they're all reasonably well spaced out. There's obviously between pitching wedge and 7-iron, there's a huge gap here. Now this might be because I was just making a few iffy swings maybe, but with these i500 irons, the gapping is more difficult to do with these hot faces on the irons. But normally they'd be a little bit more equidistant in there. So I'd just put that down to not swinging it my best tonight. So up here, it gives you all of your first bit of information. So my average club gap was 11 yards. So that's good. That's exactly where I want it to be. My closest gap was 7 yards, which is not, it's not a disaster. And that was between my L wedge and my 56 degree. And my furthest gap was 17 yards, which was between my 9 iron and my 8 iron, which is what we kind of highlighted down here. So you go to your next page. It then gives you obviously your kind of angle, left and right of your target line. So they were all pretty straight, not too displeased with that. And then across here again, it gives my average club of 11, average shot dispersion of 10 yards. Normally I'd want to do a little bit better than that, but again, wasn't feeling 100% tonight. Closest gap and furthest gap again, and then it's telling me that my side angle tendency is a slight push, my shot shape tendency is a draw, which is correct, and my offline tendency was minus 0.5 yards to the left. So that's actually quite good, to be fair. It didn't feel that good when I was playing, but maybe it wasn't quite as bad as I thought. And then you go into your individual clubs. So here it gives you your dispersion for those shots on this left-hand side. And then across here, offline tendency 4.3 yards. To the right, I can live with that. Shot shape tendency to a fade. I'm quite pleased to see that because I am trying to hit more of a fade with my short irons because you've got more control on them as they land on the green. Gap to next club was 7 yards, and then there is in the previous club. And then you can go through each club here. So it's saying that my offline tendency with this was 3.4 yards to the right. Again, a slight fade, so I'm pleased to see that. Gap to next club has got a green tick, so that's telling me that we're right in the area where we want to be. And it's saying to my previous club a red exclamation mark saying that actually we're a little bit close there to what we ideally want to be. Next one, 52, got 2 green ticks. Again, now gone to a slight draw with my 52, interestingly. And then you can just go through every single club and it'll give you information on each one. So you can see here on the 9 iron, we've got red exclamation marks on both of them. I mean, average carry 132. That's a little bit short for me. I'd normally expect to be more around 135, 136, so maybe I just wasn't hitting it quite as well. But again, you can go through every single club. It gives you all the information, your offline tendency, your shot shape, your gap to your previous club, and then also down here, each shot giving you the carry, the offline, and what the shot shape was. So I hit a draw every single time with my 7 iron, which is what I'd like to do. And you get to your 6, your 5. Now, because these I500 irons have got quite strong lofts, a 5 iron in reality is more like a 4 iron, if not a 3.5 iron, even possibly. No, about a 4 iron on normal lofts. So again, that 178 yard carry is a little bit shorter than what I'd expect it to be. And then we move up onto the hybrids, which I expect to go a little bit further. So as you can see, you get an incredible amount of information. We'll go back to the first page. This one being the one that I tend to take most notice of. So these red bands that are showing here are showing me where the gaps are not ideal, where we want to look to try and improve it a little bit. So I'd like to see a little bit less than that, but I think I'd need to do another session when I'm feeling a lot more sort of full of energy and can do the full session and make good swings all the way through. Then you can export it. You can export it as a CSV file. You can export it as a PDF. You can then send that to your club fitter or to your coach or whatever. It can be used for stuff like that. Or you can just keep it as a reference. So when you do a next bag mapping session, maybe in a month and a half's time, you can then cross-reference to see if there's been any differences. So, as I said in the video, going through all the features you get with the game improvement package on the Skytrak features, I think this one is worth paying the £100 for the game improvement package when you buy a Skytrak. just for this alone. I think it's that good. I think it's that useful. When I come in here and I do what I consider to be a really good, solid session, hitting good golf shots, just, you know, really I just know when I'm swinging it nice and consistent. That printout or that export or PDF that I get from that gives me all the information that I'm looking for. It's giving me my carry yardages, making sure that my gaps are right, highlighting where there might be a few issues with my gaps. You know, my shot tendencies, where I'm tending to miss on the left or the right. You know, this is all amazing information that you can get on your game. And, you know, it might be that you'll do a bag mapping session and you'll notice that your long irons, you know, are losing them way off to the right, and that gives you something that you can work on with your game. So it can be used as a real tool to actually highlight where you might be able to improve your game and strengthen areas of your game which might be a little bit weak, and this would highlight it. Okay, so that's the Skytrak bag mapping feature. That's how you do a session. If you're thinking of getting a Skytrak, this is definitely worth getting. If you haven't got a Skytrak, then I do advise getting some kind of golf tracking system, which will also be able to give you all of your yardages and also give you all the information that I've talked about here. You know, these tracking systems now, they'll track every shot. It'll give you your bad miss, identify where you've got weak parts of your game. I think with golf, you know, anything that's giving you a high amount of data and information about your game is absolutely valuable, and it's something that you can really use to make sure that you're working on the right parts of your game that are weak and you make them better, rather than possibly going out and just, you know, practicing stuff that you're already good at. Okay, that's it. Till next time. We're still in lockdown, can't get on the golf course. I'll keep trying to do stuff from inside the simulator room here. So till next time, stay safe. I hope you're all well.